and the economy. Period. End of statement. What are we doing to bring more jobs into being? What are we doing to stop unemployment? Zilch. Nothing. Letting the car dealers actually end up with a very large bonus in 2.5, I think it's $2,500 or $3,500 to get a new car. Will those people be able to pay for that car at the end of the day? Who knows? All that is a down payment. And we know what's been going on in the country right now with down payments. So it is very important, I think, especially when I get in a room of Republicans that care deeply about this country and care deeply about making sure that we're going in the right direction. It's very important that we speak out, that we spend our time over the next 6 to 9 months, which of course our primary will be in March of 2010, and make absolutely sure that we get Republicans elected again all up and down the ballot. And the House is probably the most important place to do that. We have redistricting coming up in the next 2 years. The most important thing that we can do in a redistricting session is hold the pen. If we're not in charge of redistricting, the next 10 years could be devastating for us as a party. We were fortunate. We held the pen 10 years ago. I happen to be part of that. I'm very proud of what we did. But that pen will be dependent upon the 2010 election. So we've got to make sure that we elect Republicans in 2010, in March and in November. We've got to make sure in November that we elect those Republicans if we're going to hold that pen. The most important thing we can do. Now I'm going to probably get a little bit into the future of politics in the state of Texas. I would be foolish to stand here and not have the opportunity to share with you some of my thoughts about where we're going in this next election. I am not here to promote any candidate above another candidate in the gubernatorial race. But everything that's going to happen in that race, and there will be a race. Some people keep thinking one or the other is going to drop out, but I don't believe that's going to happen. But it's all dependent on that race as to where the rest of the dominoes start to fall. So I'm going to try to kind of give you an overview of what's going on. As you well know, Kay Bailey Hutchison is going to come back and run for governor. Her term of office is not up until 2012. So she will have to resign, or she says she will resign her seat. That's when the dominoes begin to take effect. The seat right now is not vacant. She is still in the United States Senate. So everything that I'm about to tell you is on a what if this happens. What if this happens? And then there's scenarios that play out all the way down the list. So bear with me for a minute because it's a flashback almost to a Ouija board where you're just trying to guess what really could happen, what the possibilities are, and there are multiple possibilities. Assumption number one is Kay Hutchison's coming back. She's going to run for governor. She will be running against Rick Perry, who has announced he is running again. She may resign her seat in the United States Senate. Then again, she may not. If she resigns her seat, there are 6 people who have already announced that they would like to run for the United States Senate, and I happen to be one of them. There are 4 Republicans, I am one of the 4 Republicans, and there are 2 Democrats. This is a very different election because it's not held in that March primary. It is a special election that the governor may call at any time after 30 days upon her resignation. It's a free-for-all. Everyone runs on a special election ballot. It's not a Republican primary. So the 2 Democrats are on the same ballot with the Republicans. Means, with that many people, and this right now there's only 6, I guarantee you there'll be many more than 6 by the time it's over. It doesn't often happen that you get a shot at running for the United States Senate. So there'll be more that will probably run before it's all over. Likely, no one will get a majority with that many people. So you'll end up in a runoff. And the fear that I have is that you'll have one Republican and possibly one Democrat in the runoff. Now that would be a serious problem. Then we really have to work hard at making sure that that's a Republican. What I like to say is somebody said, well, you know, the Democrats are going around saying, oh, well, we should have one of both, one Republican and one Democrat. What I like to say is, no, we should have one of both, one woman and one man. Both Republicans. Both Republicans. So, but that's a possibility. The next level then is, if you've got that, what about all the seats that go beyond the governor's race? The lieutenant governor, the attorney general, and so on and so on. Now, Susan Combs has already announced she's staying as comptroller. Don Staples, agriculture, those are not looking at changes. But there are some changes that are being looked at if the lieutenant governor decides to run for the United States Senate, and if Greg Abbott, who is the attorney general, decides to run for lieutenant governor, and if I hear a prejudice in here, and if Ted Cruz or Dan Branch, or there are some others that are looking at it, decide to run for attorney general, we could have a lot of Republicans. The reason I'm telling you this is we could have a lot of Republicans moving around in different offices in different places throughout the state of Texas. And our job as Republicans is to work for one of those candidates, to work hard for one of those candidates. Once this all filters out, which, as I said, we don't know when that's going to happen, but work for one of those candidates, because the worst thing we could do is be idle. The worst thing we could do as Republicans is not get involved in one of those campaigns. There's lots of opportunity to get involved in those campaigns. So I beg you, whether it's my campaign or another Republican, please get involved. It is really, really important. This is a turning point. This is an opportunity and a turning point at this moment in time. Texas must continue as a Republican state. Amen. Must. No ifs, ands, no buts. Texas must. We have a state right now, thank you. We have a state right now that we could, if given the right set of circumstances, lead the nation in our philosophy, in our ideology, in our decision making, in our ideas, in limited government. You know, I have never seen a government program, I have never seen a government at any level that creates jobs. People and businesses create jobs. If we let this current administration continue along the path they're on, we won't even recognize this country at the end of 4 years. We won't. We will turn around and look at it and say to ourselves, what happened? Where was I the last 4 years? It is up to every single one of us in this room to make sure that we're involved and engaged in all of these campaigns. Involved and engaged. Not a bystander, not watching it from a back row, but in the fray, fighting for those things that we really do believe in. That's the most important thing we can do.